WAPN, my favorite time of the day, finding out what's going on in the neighborhood. So introduce yourself, please, and what is the name of your ministry, and what church do you go to?
Sure. My name's Connie Davis. I go to Tomoka Christian Church. We are working with a new ministry called Hope in the Waiting. It is to care for women who have prodigals, and by prodigals I mean wayward, rebellious teenagers, young adults. And I constantly say moms, but the reality of it is it's women. It's grandmothers, aunts, sisters. You don't even have to be biologically related. It's just the women who have the broken hearts for these wayward kids. That's what we want to care for.
And there's seasons in wayward, isn't it? You know, I think that we think, oh, our kid's just doing this, or our grandchild, or whatever it is. They're going to make it through.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer.
Yes.
A lot of encouragement. But it might just be a small season. But at that moment, we feel like it's the worst moment of our lives as women. We take it all on, don't we as women?
We absolutely do. And the same thing you said. So I have prayed for, over the last year or two, probably over 40 women. I've looked in their eyes, held their hands, and prayed for these women who have prodigals. And what I'm finding is the enemy wants them to think that it's their fault. How many times have I felt in my own life having a prodigal, I failed them, I went wrong. We feel guilt, we feel shame, we feel isolated, and these women aren't that. And so many of the women that I've prayed for, I look in their eyes and I see they have lost that fight to fight for their kids. They have lost maybe the faith and the hope, and that's what this night is for. We have got to pour into these women. I believe the Lord is raising up an army of warriors to fight for this next generation. I don't think the enemy wants us to be activated, and guess what? We are. We're going to be the fiercest warriors that you will ever see. That's
I love that because, you know, as women, God gave all those feelings and emotions to us. You know, He made us unique and He made us different. And so sometimes I think as women, we also feel weird with all those emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, how can he just blow that off? Or how can he just not participate in this? How can, like I always say, I'm the crazy mom. Because we do literally become the crazy mom.
Yes, we do.
To fight for our children.
Yes.
I mean, and it could be our stepchild. It could be our biological. It could be a foster child. It could be the neighbor kid.
Yes.
That nobody has been praying for that neighbor kid. And we have just swooped in and said, you know, I'm going to pray for that kid every day. They don't even know I'm praying for them, but I'm going to start praying for them. And it's funny. Then the attack happens. And that's something we don't deal with very well, that when we're stepping up and, you know, taking control and helping this child or the neighbor or the adopted kid or the grandchild, whatever it is, the attack happens on us.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what I don't think we understand.
Yeah.
How are we praying and we're getting attacked?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't that how it worked, though?
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because as I, grow in my walk with the Lord, I see the closer we get to being on mission with Lord and the actual things are moving and happening, that's when we are more and more attacked. If we're going to be complacent and sit down, the enemy's not going to bother us.
Well, that's when I get worried. When nothing's happening, when I'm just going through life and doing life, that's when I start getting concerned. But when I'm being attacked, I'm kind of like,
Right. Yeah.
You have to change your stinking thinking.
Yes.
And look at it. When you are being attacked, what is going on? What is the movement that's about to happen?
Yes.
And I feel right now there is a movement in our young people. I mean, I just feel that our young women and men, young girls and boys, teenagers, whatever they are, I feel like right now they're so hungry. And as a mom, though, then that kind of makes it harder on us.
Yeah.
Don't you feel?
I do. I feel like it does make it harder. Kind of somewhat putting pressure on us.
Right.
We want to, but really and truly, the best thing we can do is just pray, be the example God's calling us to be, and then the results are the Lord's, which is good. But the other side of it too is our kids, we raised them in the church, and we did our best. We were so not perfect. We were pretty faithful. But what I would love to see in this ministry are the women who didn't do that, who maybe they did drugs in front of their kids. Maybe they brought a different guy home every night. It doesn't matter. This is not about our performance. This is about who He is. Because as a woman, we tend to, my default can be, I'm not qualified or worthy of this. And that's the thing. These aren't for Christian women who have done well and their children are prodigals. These are for all of us. We're all broken. We're all fallen. We are all desperate for Jesus. My heart and my prayer is there will be women there who don't even know Jesus yet, but are brokenhearted over a rebellious child. If there's anybody that's listening that has a neighbor or a family member or anybody, if God puts anybody in your heart, please bring them.
Well, where are we bringing them? What's the address? Is there social media? Do we need to pre-book it? What do we need to do?
Yeah. So the best way to do this is register online, and it's tomoka.cc/events. That's how you register online. This event is going to be Friday, February 6th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to have snacks and a goodie bag. So it would be most helpful if they're registered so we have an idea of how many are coming. But just come.
Is there childcare that night?
No.
So it's only for the women, though. It's not for the children.
No, it's only for the women. And this is not a how-to formula as to how to pray your child out of being in that phase. But what it is they're going to see that they are not alone. We are not alone. We are all in the same boat. It doesn't matter. Our performance doesn't matter. It's who our God is, and He wants to pour into these women. He wants to love these women. It breaks my heart how many women I have met who feel like they've failed.
Well, that's just the thing I think women do.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. Like I was in an abusive relationship way before my husband, and I've been married 32 years. So we're talking like 40 years ago, okay? I mean, a long time ago. But that's always on your mind. You know, you're constantly, why was I? What did I do? There's a list of coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, wouldas.
Yes.
But I'm now at the point where it's like I can talk about it, not cry, talk about it and be okay because it wasn't my fault.
No.
But when you're going through it and you're healing and you're moving and grooving and all the different things you're doing, you're still wondering, what part did I have in that? Sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
And they're part of our testimony.
Yes, they are.
And so if we wouldn't have had that thing just happen, would I have that testimony?
Yeah.
Would I have that compassion? You know, and
Yes.
so even when you're in it, you might not see any of that. Or you definitely won't see any of that. But it is a testimony.
It is.
And God will use it somehow, won't He?
He really, really will. It's just going to be an incredible thing to watch these women step up. And the other thing is, there are going to be women there that actually they really do think, well, I don't deserve this. And the thing is, God was never surprised. He has never had to pivot because we got divorced, because we didn't raise our kids right, God never had to pivot. He never had to say, oh, I didn't see that coming. Now I got to figure something else out. He always knew.
Saw it way down the road.
He always knew. He was never surprised. And so we need to have grace for ourselves. We need to have forgiveness for ourselves. And what happens is we come together as women and we get to care for each other. I've had a few people say, well, can we bring our husbands? And for this, right now, the answer is no.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And so a couple of reasons. Number one, I want single women to feel like, well, I don't have a husband, I can't come. No. This is for women. The second thing, too, is there's something very unique and special about the way the Lord built a mama's heart, that even though our husbands are desperately loving our kids too, there's just a difference.
And I think we can communicate with each other better too.
Yeah, and we want to be vulnerable. We want to be able to be vulnerable. So over this last year, I'll just say, we've got 4 kids. The prodigal who I have it's been about a 10-year season. He's still a prodigal, although he's not as angry at us. The Lord showed me several years ago that at this point, I just need to have my mouth sealed and my arms wide open, just love on him right where he is. Doesn't mean I have to support his decisions. And so our relationship with him is better, but he has not really bent the knee for the Lord at this point. So in this season, first of all, I kind of think it's cool that God is not allowing me to be, oh, I'm on the other side of it and I get it. No, I'm right there with you.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
am
agree with you.
still in the mess with you. And so in this
Because there's no timing in heaven.
No, there's no time. And the other thing, too, is I think it's kind of cool just to watch how the Lord has actually worked so much in me and in my heart. And He's taught me things. He's taught me how to pray scripture over my kids, how to do things that I never had done before. So as we work with this women, this will be a ministry about once every 3 months. Maybe the next step will be, let's talk about some tools that we can use to help care for these women, things like that.
I love that.
It's going to be so fun. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is, do you know who Mark Nelson is with Exchange Ministries?
No, well, I might, but I'm not off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, you probably would recognize him. He has the most incredible testimony in the world, and he is going to be there that night to give his testimony. And basically, his testimony is, I don't want to spoil the end, but he died and went to hell, and he cried out to Jesus in hell, and now he is so on fire for the Lord. But the reason I asked him to be the first speaker, because it's all women and just him, and then he'll leave the room. But when I was at my lowest and I was begging God and crying out to God and didn't know how to pray, what to do, I didn't even know if my prayers made a difference. Mark told me, Connie, it was the prayers of my mom that prayed me out of hell. It was the prayers of my mom when I was in a coma for 22 days. She spoke scripture over my life and prayed over my life. And he said, don't ever doubt that the prayers of a mom are so powerful. And so that's what I want these women to understand.
I love that. When my mom, when she was dying, we got to have some moments at the end, and we were talking about something, and she had blamed my mistakes on something she had done. And I never realized that, until the last moments. It was probably day 3 before she died. So 3 days before she died. And, those 13 days, we opened the house to anybody that wanted to come and be with my mom, anybody that wanted to read scripture to her, sing to her, pray with her. Pastor Cord was at her bedside. My mom looked at him as a son, and he was at her bedside. So when it got to the last couple days, and we knew it was close, I was laying in bed with her one day, and we were talking, and she goes, I'm so sorry for any of the mistakes that I made that caused you to do this. I said, Ma, that was never your fault. I said, those were all my choices. I said, you always taught me the right thing. You always were a praying mom. She was always da-da-da. I mean, my mom was a Proverbs 31 mom. I know a lot of you say that about your mom, but I can tell you my mom really was.
That's amazing.
But at those moments, she had blamed my choices. And I said, no, Mom. And I felt a shift in the atmosphere. Like she was holding on to something as a mom all those years that had nothing to do with what she did as a mom.
Wow.
And
yes.
I will never forget that moment. And then I said, Mom, is there anything else you want to talk about? And literally, it was like the last day she talked. And I said, let's do the Chloe laugh. That's one of my granddaughters, had this cutest little laugh when she was a little girl. And my mom did it. And it was like a release of laughter. We made it past that moment. And we had the joy of the Lord.
Oh, how beautiful.
It was. And then I said, is there anything you want to say to me? And she goes, you're faithful. Those words changed my life. That was the last thing my mom said to me.
Wow.
That I was faithful. And I never thought I was faithful.
Wow.
Because I always thought I was the one that let them down. Yeah. I was the wild child. I was the middle child. I was this, I was that, and I did it all, but when we had that moment, me and my mom shared that moment, I could see what an amazing mom she was. She had carried everything that hurt me. She had carried also. And so I know there's moms out there that need to understand it's not your fault, but you're carrying it.
Yes.
And it's okay to release it.
Yes.
And I think that's what you're going for, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And like I said, none of us has a perfect performance. Some of us have been very faithful, but still imperfect. And others of us haven't even known God and haven't been faithful. My mom was an atheist her entire life. God's arm was long enough to reach me. I didn't have a mom praying for me. And I shouldn't say her entire life, because 3 years before she died, she was radically saved.
That's awesome.
And then again, I think God honors our prayers. He honors that when we beseech him and fight on behalf of our loved ones, God is so faithful.
All the time.
Yes.
And like we've said a minute ago, his timing.
Yes.
Because I think also we really do have to go through it.
Yeah.
I feel if I don't go, because I'm stubborn, if I don't go through something and really get in the grind of it all and the muck of it all, I don't think I really get it.
Oh, agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When I get through it, I really didn't learn, because I feel
That's
like
exactly
it wasn't tough enough on me, or it wasn't crazy enough on me, or it wasn't stretched like a rubber band.
That's funny.
I go, oh, I kind of, you know what I'm saying? But when it's really rough,
yeah.
and you're just crying and you got the boogie cries and you're just over it, and you're just driving in your car going, okay, God, what are we going to do here? And you know what? It's okay to get in your car and just scream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that we think we can't do that.
Or that we have to pretend like we have it all together.
Right.
That drives me crazy when we pretend. And I think, especially social media, we see on Instagram and Facebook, everybody's lives look perfect, and then we know how broken our lives are. Well, guess what? We're all broken. We're all desperate for Jesus.
I love that you brought that up with social media because I barely post. I mean, I do on the radio station, of course, but I barely do personally because I don't want everybody in the middle of it and judging and saying what they think or whatever. But I also try to be positive on it because I do want them to know you can make it. So it's a hard, bittersweet kind of weird thing,
It is.
But we all are going through something.
Yes, we are.
And I'm so thankful you do have a women's ministry that's going to help us. So tell us again, how do we sign up? Where should we come? What do we need to do? And is it all ages of women?
Yes, all ages of women. We're not targeting the woman who has a stubborn 5-year-old. We're talking about women whose hearts, and like I said, doesn't have to be a mom, women whose hearts are for the rebellious teenager, adult, young adult, that kind of thing. And it's so tomoka.cc/events is where you will register. It's February 6th. That's a Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m.
Then you don't have to be a member of Tomoka, right?
Oh, gosh, no. This is nothing about Tomoka other than that's where we're meeting. This is about fighting for these women. We have got to care for these women. We have to come alongside them, lift their arms. Since this last year, I have developed a prayer group. It reminds me of just like a cord of three. And the three of us, we are fighting for our kids. You can get very vulnerable when it's just three of you. You can trust that this is a safe space. And it's turned into so much more than just fighting for our kids. It's being a part of each other's lives very well.
Carrying each other.
Yes, it's beautiful. And that's my hope is that because so many of these women think they're isolated. They think that, I would say the church that we used to go to years ago, we really did have the impression that if you had a child that was rebellious, the reflection was absolutely on the parents and what have you done wrong. So when you're raised in that kind of a culture for 20 years, you're reluctant. You're reluctant to tell people that you're hurting, that you're going through these kinds of things.
Well, I think that is everywhere. I think that in school, it's always the parents' fault. I mean, it is. We've done something.
Yeah.
You know what? It could be hormones. It could be an off balance. It could be bipolar. There's so many things. Why do we always get the blame to start off with? Why don't we ask the questions, search for the answers? Maybe it's a change in diet. And you think, really? Yeah. Sometimes it could be
simple.
one easy thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to search out. And I'm excited that you're doing a women's thing. Tomoka is an awesome church. They're part of WAPN forever and a day. And so I'm very excited. So if you're an aunt, a grandmother, a mom, a wannabe mom, a neighbor, somebody that maybe you're that neighbor that's just praying for that teenager that you see gone wild. Maybe you're an aunt. Maybe you're a sister.
Yes.
Of that teenager.
Yes.
Because you might be.
Your heart might be broken. Yes.
Right. Because you could be a little bit older and you're seeing your sibling do all this and you're going, what is going on?
Yes.
They need help too.
They do.
So is there a phone number they can call or just the registration online is the most important?
The registration online is the most important, and that's, again, tomoka.cc/events. And it's called Hope in the Waiting is the name of the ministry.
I love that.
Yeah, Hope in the Waiting. And the other thing, just like you said, God might be putting at this very moment someone on your heart who is a neighbor, a friend. Maybe they know the Lord, maybe they don't know the Lord, but you have seen the weariness, you've seen the pain and the brokenness they're going through. You've seen that maybe they're not praying anymore, or they don't know how to pray. Bring them, bring the brokenhearted, bring the weary. We want to care for these women.
You see the tired on them.
Yes, that's what I've seen in so many women that I've prayed for, and it looks to me like I'm fighting for their kids more than they are. They've got to step up and fight for their kids. If us mamas don't fight for our kids, who's gonna?
I love it so much. Thank